got in under the wire.
He did. He knew I was coming. I would've. Hey, Jack.
Hello there, Megan.
How's it
How we
going?
doing? Real good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
I want to ask you about, start with some of the injuries and latest with
Okay.
Ben Simmons being out with his hip. What's the update on him, and particularly, like, how is that hip, and what have you guys seen?
Yeah, so he received treatment, and he'll continue to receive treatment, just not in a place where all parties around feel comfortable with him playing at the levels that he's been playing at. So we'll continue to be day-to-day with this thing. He'll get some treatments today, tomorrow also, and then we'll see what that looks like going forward.
And with the news of Cam Thomas with that left ankle sprain, that MRI revealing, what have your conversations been like with Cam in these last couple of hours, and how is he doing?
Yeah, he's doing, actually spirits are pretty good. You know, my conversation with him, as well as they can be when you're not playing. Obviously, he's a hooper and he wants to be here playing. We actually left him in Brooklyn so that you know, you want any swelling and when you're flying those first 48 hours. And so he'll get treatment, and we'll reassess him in 2 weeks. We'll miss him, and I'll be quizzing him on what we're doing on the floor, texting him, but good couple weeks of rest for him.
Okay, you guys have Cam Johnson coming back tonight with the 7 games that he missed. I think it was like around 16 days with the hamstring for him. How is he doing? And then also, will he be able to start or have a minutes restriction?
Yeah, so I don't get into the restriction of minutes. It's an ongoing conversation with Cam and performance and myself and the feel of the game. You know, I don't think he'll play more than the minutes he played that first night versus Cleveland. So I'll assess to see how he feels, how the game is going, and look forward to them being out there. We add one, take one away. Add another one, take one away.
I hate it for you. And with tonight's game, with everything that you guys are going to have to balance, you just saw this team 6 days ago. What do you take from that game that could be important for tonight, especially with it being an in-season tournament game that could set you to be 2-0 in that group play?
Yeah, definitely an important game in the in-season bracket. I think you could take a few things away from the game, that we did good enough things to put ourselves in a position to win. There's some things that we definitely have to do better tonight. This is the second time without Ben against them, so a lot of things that we did last time we'll do tonight, a few tweaks along the way, but we've seen this team play against that team. No Horford tonight, so that changes it a little bit. So we'll have to anticipate whose minutes those are. But we'll try to get advantage like we did in the first time we played them, and see if that works for us.
Following up on, I guess, 2 of those, curious with Ben, obviously sometimes back radiates down to the hip. Is it your opinion, or have you been told if that's related?
I went to business school at the University of Kansas. I definitely did not go to medical school. And I will tell you that the hip was the one play that we talked about in the game. That was the aggravation. Before that play, Ben was good.
Okay. And then with Cam, grade 1, 2, 3?
2 weeks we'll reevaluate him, and we'll have some more info for you, Brian. But he will be out 2 weeks for sure.
Jacque, what changes facing this team without Al Horford as far as your strategy?
Well, I don't know how he's going to play. So is Cornette going to have those minutes? Is Brissett going to have those minutes? Is he going to go smaller than that? So you have to anticipate some of those things along the way, and try to get an advantage with all 3 of those potential lineups.
And then following up, actually, never mind, sorry.
Good.
What was the in-season, the first game experience like, the tournament, and have you talked to the players about kind of the rules and, just sort of how it works? And is this something that would have excited you as a player?
I think overall trying to win something, especially that's different. I love the philosophy behind it. I didn't grow up in the soccer culture, so for me it's pretty exciting. People who have seen this style of play really relish in the competition that goes along with it, the break in the season. It's for something, a trophy, an inaugural piece. that you'll be the first part of in a long time. So I think as a player, I would be excited. I addressed it with the team the first time we played our in-season game, that this was part of our bracket, and I'll say it again tonight. But I always coach our team with what's best for our group that night, and I'll do the same thing tonight with the guys that we have available.
When I asked Spencer about the in-season tournament at shoot-around, he mentioned that the biggest thing that was motivating them was the young guys receiving that money. As a group, as a coach and as a group, what does it mean to kind of hear that? They want that just not for the cup and for them, but also I wanted to make sure my teammates can receive a prize like that.
Yeah, I think that's a lure to trying to make it to Vegas and be a part of winning. The power of money with this group and across the league is very, very powerful. And so I think they're well, positioned to make a little extra change. And for a young player in this league who's just getting his first few paychecks, that goes a long ways.
Is this, I mean, to be fair, this is a very different unit, right, than you were dealing with last year. I mean, for some guys, I mean, I get $500,000 is a lot of money for most of us, but I mean, for KD, for Kyrie, that's a rounding error. But you have a lot of guys that are, as you've talked about, have something to prove, guys that are on, say, minimum deals, or rookies and so forth. Just how different, I guess, in allure is that for this particular team than it, say, might have been a year ago?
Yeah, I won't touch, the salaries of those dudes that we previously had, but, that's a lot of money. And I acknowledge that. For a guy to have the opportunity to have that additional salary for competing, for doing his job on a nightly basis is pretty incentivizing. And like you said, we have a lot of dudes that are on one-year deals, minimum deals across the board, and rookies who will benefit from something of that nature. So high level to be rewarded for it, and definitely incentivizing.
One of those young guys on a minimum deal this year is Lonnie Walker, and he's talked a lot about how slowing down, not playing at 100% has been the key to a lot of his offensive success. Is there anything you can do as a coaching staff to get young guards to that point, or is that just a process they kind of have to go through on their own?
I think it's a process, and hopefully we've allowed that process to occur by not putting an extreme amount of pressure on Lonnie. I think if you see Lonnie, he plays with an element of freedom that we love and that we've embraced. And I think when you have guys who are young and at the same time have the ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor, when you can empower them to be who they are, and that's okay, there's something to that. We've acknowledged that Lonnie is a gifted human being. And we're going to push him on the defensive end of the floor to not miss a box out tonight, but also cheer him on when he attacks the rim and attacks the paint and shoots a reverse layup that he felt instinctively was the best thing to do that night. And so I think embracing that as a staff has allowed Lonnie to be who he is.
Just to go back to Ben, how would you say at this point in time, from what you've seen to today, his confidence in his body, and where is that at? And is there any concern, even though it's a different setback and maybe not related, how that might impact that progression?
I don't think we're at a point to even, kind of walk down that avenue. He aggravated his hip in the game the other night. For me, it's just that simple. Other players have missed games from aggravation, from ankles and shins and hamstrings. It's all in the same bucket. And so that's been the best thing is Ben has earned the right, just like the other players, to get hurt, come back, be a player, try to get back on the floor, have the confidence to be a teammate, all those things. I don't put him differently than any other player. And so the history behind it is the history of previous time and years, and I think that's why our relationship has grown to where it is. I trust in what he says to me, the work that I've seen him do, and he'll continue to do the work to get back on the floor and help us as a ball club.
Offensively for your group, without Cam Thomas, who's been one of your leading scorers throughout this, so far this early in the season, how do you balance replacing him with the other guys and like kind of filling in that gap that he holds, and also still trying to like get to that pace that you want to see against this Boston defense?
Yeah, Megan, you know, this schedule has been tough for us, and for us to be in a position, what are we, 4-4 tonight, playing Boston for the second time in a week, and I'm getting answers from this ball club that maybe I wouldn't have gotten if we were completely healthy. We'll miss Cam Thomas's 30 points tonight for sure, but having Cam Johnson back in the mix, being able to use our bench a little bit more tonight, and you saw the effectiveness of our bench in our previous game. So maybe I wouldn't have seen that if the conditions were different. And so, you know me, I'm not going to have an excuse for this thing. The dudes that suit up tonight, I'm going to put them in position to hopefully have success. We're going to try to get an advantage and keep our advantage throughout the course of the night. What that looks like, small, big, all of the above, we'll take it. And I'll continue to learn about these dudes, and we'll get better as a ball club from game 1 to game 9.
Can you share who your starters will be for tonight?
Only for you.
Oh, thank you.
Only for you. Brian wouldn't have asked, I wouldn't have told him. Let's go. Royce. Royce is the rover. Royce can start. He can do it all. Cam Johnson will start also, Royce will start.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, JB.
All right, guys.